I think you enjoyed the lunch, or we hope that you enjoyed the lunch. And we will start now with a debate. Actually, the debate means that one side says something and the other side says something else. But discussing with my colleagues today, we decided that we will just say what it's their opinion and their experience in the Romanian market and in the European market. So if you look to the screen, you will see that we have Adrian and Cătălin, and by the long title in their signature, I hope that they know what they're doing. This is in our corporation generally says that you are a senior and you are a very good person in the corporation. And both of them, as you will see, have something to do with Europe or with more countries than Romania. Myself, I'm generally helping them, companies such as Microsoft or Wipro, to enter into the Romanian market or to develop here from the real estate perspective. So based on this expertise that we have, all three of us, we have some topics to discuss, and your opinion is also valued. At the end of the session, we will have a question for everyone in the room. But let's start with the topic that was also discussed last time in the conference, and it's always in debates when we are looking to the BPO sector. How are we finding people, or is there a scarcity of employees on the Romanian market? And we saw today in the report that Romania is growing and we need more people there. It's 10% increase. But in the same time, everybody says that there's no people around. So do you agree with that? What are we doing with this? Who is starting? This is the first debate. Who is starting?
Okay, if we can find people, well, that's always difficult, especially now that with the advent of all these new technologies that have been discussed here today and more. So finding people for these technologies is not a matter of number, it's more a matter of skills, upskills, and what sort of technologies are you looking for? And since we're talking about Romania, I think we all know that this is not only a problem in Romania. Finding people who know new technologies is an issue everywhere, simply because it's about new technologies, right? So most of these new technologies were not taught on schools. They are maybe not even today. They are not learning in schools. So it's a matter of how can you acquire these new technologies at the fast pace that the technology is growing.
So are you finding people? You are training people? What are you doing in this regard?
It's mostly about training, simply because, like I said, for the new technologies, and if we're talking about technologies that have been evolving or actually appearing in the past couple of years, maybe a few years, there is no way you can find people who are experienced. Think about, if we can take just one example, autonomous driving, autonomous vehicles, and engineers knowing how to develop such marvels. How can anyone find someone with 10 years of experience, since we are talking about autonomous vehicles maybe only since a few years? This is just a mere example. So the simple answer to your question is, yes, we need to train the people.
Okay.
So let me pick on Cătălin a little bit. First, bear with me, I'm a bit jet-lagged and also a bit sick, but I couldn't resist the chance of talking to you. I think it's also a numbers game. So yesterday, I was supposed to welcome, but being sick, I did not, but my colleagues did the cohort of the new graduates that were intaking at Microsoft. They were born in 1996, they're 22 years old on average. 231,000 people were born in 1996. Versus 315,000 in 1990, and versus 192,000 last year. So it's a decrease of 17% last year versus these new grads that we welcome. So it is a numbers game as well, because this industry continues to grow. We're all complaining, but if you look at the past growth, we keep growing, and I think we still have a good window of opportunity to continue to grow. So numbers also important because there is a strong business need.
So just to conclude, we need love to grow the numbers, and we need training to acquire skills. Going to the next subject, because I have a timer here, it says 22 minutes, so still I need to change and go to the next one. It's about where are you going generally? You will choose the capital of a country, you will go to the second or tertiary cities there. And I'm not talking only about Romania, but maybe also about other countries. So where should companies go?
Well, I think everywhere you find the talent, first of all. So in many businesses, you can be location agnostic. You go after the talent. If you look at Romania, we have some advantages, but also disadvantages. And let me compare it with Poland. Poland has 9, 10 cities, if you count Katowice as well, that are above 350,000 people. They have universities, so they're good locations to go. We have 2 cities at most, right? If we count Cluj, maybe soon Timișoara and Iași, but we do have good talent all over the country. So we have to go there, and we have to help the universities getting closer to the labor market.
So how can we get these people from other cities towards the poles, to Cluj, to Timișoara or Iași, and how to can grow these secondary cities?
So if we're talking about Romanians, I think many of the companies, especially in Timișoara and Iași and Cluj, now recently they have programs to bring people to these university centers and have them stay. But I think we really need as an industry, and we failed at this in the past 25 years. With every single government we had, we failed. I think we need to push for some more work permits for people outside our country. Last year, 2017, we had 5,500 work permits. This year, we increased that to 7,000. I come from Poland. I recently relocated to Romania. Last year, they had 236,000 work permits. They're part of the European Union. They can do that. We cannot. I think we need to push for that as an industry as well, because there is enough business need here.
One more point here, we're talking about new technologies, and we're talking about the fact that everything is going digital. And going digital first might mean that there is not brick and mortar stores anymore, but everything is online. But it's actually much more than that. It's about connectivity, it's about online presence, it's about technology that people are using, and for this, it's not so important anymore the location. I mean, of course, Bucharest is the main pole for Romania, the largest university hub. So is Cluj or Timișoara or Iași. But going forward, one thing that can play to our advantage is this going digital. So physical presence where the employee is located is not so important anymore. Well, of course that most of the highly skilled employees have been trained in one of these major cities, Bucharest or Cluj or Timișoara or Iași. However, some of them might choose to go back to their original cities. Some of them might find ways to be even taught online. So more and more we're seeing people not using so much the regular channels of learning, but using online channels. So that is something that can play to the Romania's advantage, maybe helping us leapfrog one step ahead. Similarly, like maybe in the 90s, we did with the internet connection. While the established countries had to little by little improve their connectivity, we leapfrogged that, and suddenly we found ourselves in probably the second or third best position at internet speed. Why not doing the same with online training, with telepresence? It's an opportunity. I believe that what we will see 5 years ahead from now will not resemble very much the world we see today. So let's plan for this future to our advantage.
So I'll actually build on that, okay?
Yeah, please,
Since
please.
this is a debate.
Don't
so let me
destroy,
pick on
build.
that. And I have a few colleagues in the room and they already know I'm going to give you 3 things, 3 to-dos, right? So here's the first one. You have to stay current in your technology, in your business. You have to continuously reinvent yourself. Cătălin is talking about digital learning. We heard earlier about adaptive learning and other things. Do you find yourself looking, maybe smiling, maybe helping sometimes, your grandmother or somebody, use a touchscreen phone? Don't let yourself get there, okay? The world is changing continuously, so here's the first ask. Stay continuously current with the technology. Use the digital marvels that we have. Of course, Alex, from Bitdefender is going to
But do you
defend us.
find this a problem in Romania, like the adaptability? Or why do you say that to the people? We have a problem with this?
I don't think we have a problem with adaptability, but my feeling, and I have people in 13 countries in Europe, I think we get easily into a bit of a comfort zone. We like, the jobs that we have, we like, the earnings, we like the city breaks and so on, and sometimes we believe some of those are for life. They're not for life. They're not for life, so we have to continuously adapt. And think about the larger Romania. This is not Romania here. This is not the average Romania, but it could be, okay?
Okay, thanks. So it's not a problem with us, it's a problem with the others that are outside the room. Don't worry. Okay, so it's clear. Here again, we need to increase the number of students in the university, in the secondary cities or tertiary cities. We can work from home, that's what you're saying. And in this way, we will spread the workforce not only in the capital, but also around Romania. The next one is how can we grow the services that we are providing? Because we were discussing and we were looking to the type of services that Romania is providing for mainly Europe, Western and then Eastern Europe. And I remember when I started real estate that we were called call center country. Now we are a shared service country. How can we grow this service?
Well, again, technology is changing everything. So think about that, like you said, maybe if we take the call centers where language skills have been the primary skill. Well, today, natural language processing is available even for free. As an individual application, everyone can have live translation, not only of the text, but of for the voice as well. That is also coming to the support centers. So language knowledge will not be a differentiator anymore. What are going to be the differentiators then? So obviously new technologies, and if we're talking about new technologies, again, I'm using that example of leapfrogging some other developed countries, and we have, in a sense, the advantage that we start from the same level as other advanced countries because we're talking about new technologies. Of course, that is built on a foundation, so we cannot neglect that foundation. But again, lack of resources is a problem everywhere. And to your point that the numbers matter, yes, I learned, for example, that in the most developed, at least from an engineering standpoint, country in Europe, that is Germany, new hires in the engineering domain, especially in the technology, they are not Germans anymore. They are not Germans since a long time already. So statistics show that in the past probably a few years, out of 10 new hires in technology in Germany, 2 are coming from India, 2 are coming from China and Far East, 2 are coming from Eastern Europe, and only 1 or 2 are still German. So they have a problem as well in finding people, and that also is somehow to our advantage. Of course, we cannot measure on numbers with India or China for obvious reasons, but we still have some advantages that we need to play.
I think we talked earlier about the structure of the, let's say, ABSL community in Romania. How many captive centers responded to that survey and how many independent companies. Here's the second ask. Everybody needs to be a business developer. Everybody needs to be an ambassador for the country, within your companies, within your industries, because there are still massive sectors, let's say, that are not well represented here. Look at defense, look at biotechnologies, look at healthcare in general, legal institutions and so on. There's still a lot more that we can do. And second, stay awake, for how the context around is changing. I said I came from Poland. I was running there a technical support center for a networking company. When I joined, maybe 1% of my engineers knew how to really program something, in Python or maybe a bit of Java or C++, because, they were just debugging things and hardware things. When I left, 17% of my engineers were, let's call them software literate. But they really knew how to program. Why? Because, the easier jobs, they got automated, they got pushed maybe to some other geographies for some more cost arbitrage, while we retained the more juicier, let's say, part of the job, building the tools that our customers are using. This is the path we're going through in my present company as well. So I think you have to stay awake for new opportunities. Everybody's an ambassador. Everybody's a business developer.
So how you do this in your company now? What do you say when you are at the meetings with others about Romania? What are your arguments?
One thing that I'm not really good at, and I think we're not very good at, asking questions. Okay, just go and ask. What are your needs? What's your pain point? When you talk with executives, and earlier we discussed a little bit about the politics and the economic climate and taxes. You usually have a very small window of opportunity when you talk with the decision makers in your own companies or from other companies. You don't want to stay to use that opportunity to explain them what's happening in Piața Victoria, what's happening with the taxes, what's happening. No, you want to ask them, hey, what's your pain point? How can I help? What do you need? Can Bucharest or Romania or Timișoara or Iași, can that be a solution for your need? Can I build something for you? Can I make a proof point for that? Give me a small team, give me 20 people. Let me show you how that we can do it. So this is how you do it. Ask questions about their pain points.
And be courageous, as it was said.
You have to take risks.
Yeah.
You have to take risks.
For you, how are you promoting Romania?
I think what I found, not only in this company, even before, what is the best way in promoting that? Because like Adrian said, executives only have a very limited time span, for attention, and sometimes not even so much. The best way the best promoters for the country are actually your clients. So if you are able to make your clients speak good things about the work they do, the support they get, the innovation, or all these sort of things from the country, that speaks for itself, and it's probably the best promoter that would convince an executive, a new company to come to Romania. It's actually how our business started here, because automotive customers were asking about engineering services from Romania. So Romania is already a well-known place for engineering services in automotive, and not only. So this is probably the best way, except for having a good speech, a good presence, knowing the best arguments. So let your work speak for yourself, and that would be best.
Well, it's a debate, right?
Yes, please say he's not right.
Well, Cătălin won't get upset because he knows me a little bit, and he's an engineer. That's an engineering mindset. Let the work speak for itself. That's our education, from our parents. Do something good, the world will recognize it. It's such a competitive world out there. It's such a competitive world. You have to add a little bit of marketing. You have to advertise your work a little bit. Don't go on the extreme like the pendulum, but you have to add a little bit of marketing too, so that people notice Think about Microsoft. We're doing business in 192 countries. 192 countries. We have support centers, all over the world. Everybody wants to do the same, okay? So I think you have to advertise your work just a tad more than what we're doing today.
Okay, that's good. Of course, you don't need to advertise Microsoft, but you still did it, so congrats. And this is the connection practically with the last question that I have today, and it's a question that allows us to see your opinion about what is the value proposition of Romania and how are we marketing ourselves and what are our advantages in competition with other countries such as Poland, Czech, or Hungary, or even Vietnam, I heard. So who knows? So if you can help me with the quiz now, okay. So just connect again with the live box. Be patient because you will not be able to vote in the same time, all of you. So just connect, put the pin. I promise I will not use the Wi-Fi connection as my colleague Jay from Bitdefender. I will not search where you've been or your political preference, even if I agree. So let's see. We have there, we thought about together, the three of us, with what it's important and how others see Romania. And really, I hope you don't vote the first one as the most important. So I'm biased now. Let's see. After you are voting, we will let Cătălin and Adrian also discuss a little bit on that and see if they agree with you. Okay, that's good. So we are talented. I think that's a conclusion. Let's look a little bit. So we have talent as the first one, flexibility as the second one, then foreign languages and cost-effective as the fourth one. So what's your opinion? Who wants to start? Adrian?
Well, this is interesting because I will say I would agree with the first two, at least. The quality of our talent, but you have to put it to work. It's native, it's there. I strongly believe that, looking around the European countries that I work in or that I worked in, but you have to put it to work. You have to give it some shape or form in the eyes of the company. And the second one, flexibility, I think we are underrating and underestimating this one. It's so much easier to do new, advanced things in Romania than in some other countries. It's very easy here. People are much more eager to jump on the boat with you and do some new things, try new things. Other countries, they tend to be a bit more conservative. So I would strongly agree with the first two.
That's good.
Yeah, same from my side. So, like you said, I'm an engineer by formation, and I've been working in R&D, in services, and it's always what I've seen. So I can only speak from my experience in the engineering world. But what I could see is that indeed Romanian engineers are, they can easily grasp new technologies, and that's very important in this new world that it's coming and we're facing. Because, like we discussed before, this is not taught in universities. You don't have gurus who have years or tens of years of experience in these new technologies. So being able to grasp fast these new technologies is going to be key. So this is important. I'm glad that everyone believes that talent quality, or most of us believes that talent quality and flexibility are top two. So probably they are very well suited for the new world that is shaping. This is my opinion.
As modesty was not one of them, of course we are all talented. So. What would be the third, in your opinion? Because you said that you agree with the first two, but the third, that would be foreign languages, you don't agree with?
Now, foreign languages, this will go away. And again, I'm going to make a quick reference to that Polish experience. I went there and I challenged my teams there. I say, hey, why do we have this center in Poland? Romania, we speak so many languages. I run some centers in Romania with 27 languages and so on. Only to find out quickly in my third day that I had on my floor on my floor, okay, in my building. 52 nationalities. 52 nationalities working there in the office. So, it quickly disappeared from my mind that, Romania has, and they were speaking about 37 languages in total. So I was like, okay, this one goes off the list for me. So I think that will go away, especially with the technology that does exist today. And we are using it in our company, by the way. So that does exist.
So what will be the third then?
I would say the new technologies, which is linked, to the speed of embracing them.
For you, Cătălin?
Yeah, it's interesting that new technologies scored pretty high. Cost effective, well, that's a reality. It's, the cost of living in Romania is lower compared with other developed countries. Talent availability, well, that's probably a problem with the existing level of talent and with the decreasing younger generations that we discussed. So talent availability, I doubt.
But you said cost effective, we are still known for that. But with the increased competition for talent, are we not becoming expensive?
I don't think we are. So I think that will still be there for 10, 15 years at least, and this is what I said 10, 15 years ago. So I think this will stay there. And on the talent availability, make it personal. And here's the third ask: make it personal. Go and do something, for this yourself. Go teach a kid some math. Go help a neighbor with his math classes, or teach them, a little bit of programming, or whatever in your own domain. Do something and change their life. You're going to improve the talent availability, but you may change somebody's life for the better, so that you raise the average, which is in this room, to the outside world as well. So make it personal. Recruit one more person for the IT and technology industries.
Okay, thank you both for this discussion and not debate. I hope we will find more people for the company, and we will grow in Romania, and we'll find better services here. And the next topic will be a different one for the next conference. Okay, thank you very much.
In 5 years, for sure, we'll have different subjects too, I bet.
Thank you.
Thanks.